Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CoSM's April Full Moon Ceremony. I am Alexis Spatty, coming to you live from the Great Hall in Entheon, Sanctuary of Visionary Art. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah? Okay, we're good, we're great. Wonderful. Tonight we celebrate CoSM's April theme of the month, which is liberation. Liberation's great. It's a powerful invitation to break free from old stories, the stuck energy, the winter blues, and maybe your email inbox. Thank you for your message. I didn't read it. Whatever you're ready to be free from, tonight's the night to let it all go. The moon is full, the energy is high, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. So with that, let's get the show rolling. It's my true honor to welcome the visionary stewards of this space, the ones who've made it all possible. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to CoSM founders, visionary artists, the best people ever, Alex Gray and Allyson Gray. Give it up for them. Let's go!
Liberated.
Well, thank you so much for coming. It's so great to be here again. Oh, my mic's not on. Thank you so much for coming. This is really, this room has such great acoustics. This is also for our friends who are far away. We have people tuning in from all over the world. So, for how many of you is this the first time you've ever been to CoSM? Wow, welcome, fabulous. I'm so glad you made it. And who came from really far away? Anybody come from really far away? Who? Shout it out. Where? Georgia. New Hampshire, Milwaukee. North Carolina. Colorado. Rhode Island. That's
California?
Belgium, wow.
Okay.
All right, well then you win.
A winner.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're just so glad to be celebrating the 278th consecutive in an unbroken chain of full moon ceremonies that we started. Yeah. Wouldn't miss it. Always here, and started in January of 2003 in our home in Brooklyn. And for those of you who haven't been here before or haven't heard of this, that's where it all began. 22 years now of consecutive full moon ceremonies. So we're so, we love this, and every time, don't we?
Well, it's been the spiritual engine that the shaman Alex Stark, our friend, back those 22 years ago, suggested that we start the full moon ceremonies to call in community to see who might be interested in helping us to create a chapel of sacred mirrors. And so it opened up in January. Rosie was there, still here.
And she was at the first one.
Yep, on the prayer committee that was the foundation of this. At that time, we were in our loft in Brooklyn. We were praying to create a sacred space, a chapel, a permanent chapel, to house a work of art that we had kept and not sold. And it was unreasonable, completely unreasonable, to think that you could not wealthy people, manifest a chapel for the sacred mirrors. Right. Start a prayer committee. Oh, God. Really? Okay.
Secretly, we
Yeah.
thought that maybe the finance committee should be
Yeah.
the ones
It's
that
like
were really
development
tuning
committee,
in.
anybody?
But what
No.
we found out was that the prayer committee really made it happen.
Foundational.
And being there every month has brought more and more friends, and that is our New Year's resolution every year: make more friends. So we do, and so we're so grateful that you came tonight. But Alex, tell us, why is it that we celebrate the full moon? Why do we do that?
Well, I think that it's the resonance in our cells, that are made, mostly of water, right? So, look, all the tides of the ocean are just this kind of water, and they're influenced by the moon. And so the full moon has an influence on us in some subtle way, because we're water beings. So it isn't surprising, even scientifically, that there is some influence, subtly. And so, thousands, millennia, people have gathered on the full moon. It's the easiest time to navigate, to find each other.
Everybody has a full moon on every part of this planet.
Yeah.
We all have a full moon, and it all happens within 24 hours.
And so religions even would put their holidays on this time, because it's the time that people gathered and stuff. It's a special time. And so I think there's a morphogenetic field already existing around the full moon kind of celebration, and it feels like a human thing, not isolated to one, and it's a cosmic thing. It's not about something that happened on Earth.
The existence of the full moon cannot be argued. We can have differences, all kinds of differences, but the fact that that full moon is up there is always going to happen every month in our lifetime.
Even on a cloudy night, though, where you have to believe it's there.
That's true. That's right. No, you're really right. Well, it also is a reflection of a greater light. And that is really the sort of metaphorical significance of the full moon, is that it reflects a greater light, the sun, the light of the sun. And don't we reflect a greater light of the sun, of the sun? Yeah, the greatest thing that keeps us alive. So there you go. So that's why we celebrate the full moon. We're here tonight, and we thank everybody for coming. We thank our staff for making this happen. Let's just do that right up front. Staff and people in that booth. People back there. Honestly, thank you. All right. So we're going to talk tonight about liberation, because everybody, wants freedom and liberation.
Yeah, well, it's a great concept, really for a church or a sacred place to examine, just thematically. And so, let's see.
Let's get the first slide up there.
Gee whiz, we don't have a little thingy.
Where's our thingy?
Well, it's on
John's
its way
coming
up
with
here.
the thingy. It's all good.
Thank
It's
you,
all good.
John.
All right.
Super.
You start, and I'll
Our
take
deputy
it over.
director, John.
John
Ciccone.
Ciccone.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right, let's see. So,
Well, let's
you
just...
want to say anything about this?
Well, you see here the theologue painting, and why don't you just tell everybody the long title while we have it up here? This has
Okay.
got a long subtitle.
Right,
It's called Theologue.
The Union of Human and Divine Consciousness, weaving the fabric of space and time in which the self and its surroundings are embedded.
Indeed. Theologue meaning a dialogue with God.
Yes, and that we're projecting the reality that we're surrounded by.
That's right.
Which
And then
is
there's,
which is a key understanding in the search for liberation.
And then there's my work, which is, it's embedded on top of, let's just say, and it's the pointing fingers that you see when you come up into the exhibition. The pointing fingers were inspired by, a revelation, basically, a psychedelic journey in which I saw everything as fountains and drains of energy. So I was just kind of creating a symbol of, the sucking in and the blowing out, sucking and blowing. And they occur in, I don't know, an alternate realm.
Yeah, I know. How do you
we
symbolize it? That's an eternal conundrum.
So we're talking now about the liberation in Hinduism. We'll start with that. That's very old. Happy Hanuman's birthday, by the way.
It's giant treat.
All the major world religions do celebrate the full moon that follows the vernal equinox. That's a very important time. If you ever wondered how do they decide when Passover begins, it's on the full moon after the vernal equinox. When does Easter begin? It is the Sunday after the full moon, after the vernal equinox. So because they celebrate everything on Sunday, and frankly, we celebrate more often on Saturday, so we just picked Saturday, but it happens to be tonight. It happens actually to be tonight, the full moon, after the vernal equinox. So Hinduism was celebrated on the full moon and the vernal equinox. Hanuman is a Hindu god, half monkey, half human, the devoted follower of Prince Rama. So then we go on. You want to go back?
Well, I just wanted to say that, like for me, Hanuman symbolizes the kind of like the mastering of the monkey mind. It's kind of like he's like the symbol of the ego that has tamed itself in a sense, and is at the service of the divine.
It's beautiful. And so I wanted to say that in the Ramayana and traditional Hindu stories, Hanuman has special powers and qualities used to help Rama liberate his wife Sita from being kidnapped by the demon King Ravana. So that's the story. Aren't they beautiful, though? I mean, the art, this is what we really like to focus on every theme, is the art of that theme. And I just think these are such exquisite paintings by wonderful artists. This is also, this is Hare Krishna art, and it's a branch of Hinduism. And they are amazing artists. I mean, but this is one of their main themes.
Right. Yes, just the cycle of death and rebirth. And so this is this time, though. I mean, look, we just had snow on the ground, right? And now it's, spring is a time of struggle. It's like a life and death kind of struggle. And this is the energy of this month that is like this time of the consideration of all these things that come up, and the facing of mortality in a sense.
I just wanted to mention the word moksha, which means emancipation and liberation and release, and freedom from samsara, which is the
cyclic rebirth. Without
rebirth.
A kind of like not seeing what's happening and just not having any consciousness or wish to awaken from this cyclic rebirth. So that, you got in order to have liberation, you have to have a tight place. You have to have a place of constriction. Free from what? So liberation is not just something that happens. It happens in relationship to as you grow and as you become who you are. You can, if you make focused attention toward it, gain liberation through these various, now beautiful art once more.
I just wanted to show that there are just so many artists that portray this theme of the cycle of birth and death, and in such a beautiful way in the Krishna tradition. So this is just another one. And the artists don't credit themselves. They don't sign, they don't get credited. But here we are, liberation in Buddhism. So,
okay, liberation meaning sunyata, or this transcendental voidness, which is basically, they say the Buddha nature is the true nature of mind. And that is who we all really are, is free in this Buddha nature that is, and you could call it just consciousness itself, you know, or you could call it Christ consciousness. I believe that all these things are the same in a sense. It's before you had a name, you had consciousness. I am here as consciousness itself, right? You awaken as a baby in a crib, and you are that. That is inherently like what you are, who you are, beyond gender, beyond, you know, like a race, beyond an age. There is a consciousness that is our essential being, where thoughts occur within, not defined by thoughts, but it's the space. People use words like the soul to describe it, but it's what a being is before it has all the definitions and the stories and all the shit that we add on to this free being that is our true nature. And all of the beautiful religions point to it in some way. You know, we can touch it in so many different ways. But
so I just wanted to remember to say that everything originates dependent on other things. Everything is interconnected, and there is no independent arising. If you ever hear that term, there's no independent arising, what does that mean? That means that everything originates dependent on other things, and everything is interconnected. Isn't that your experience, though, that you have when you feel at your most peak consciousness, the highest states of consciousness that you've ever experienced? Don't you feel that that there's no independent arising, that everything is dependent on everything else? We do have that experience. I just wanted to...
Yeah, you could think of it as a word that says everything is one thing.
I made a card that says everything is everything. I made that very early on, yeah. Liberation from delusion is a non-dual state of awareness. Non-dual. That's, you know, that's...
It's amazing. Kind of like, yeah, it's like outside of dualism. This is why, like, Buddha's outside of the realm of samsara, because he stepped with the as consciousness. You're not ensnared in the game. So they use like different symbols to talk about our true nature. So the melong, or the mirror, is one of these symbols, a strong symbol, okay? So typically they say that with our minds, we're obsessed with our thoughts and our thinking and our feelings and everything that's like going by, these passing kinds of things. They pass by daily, you know, all we do is like think. And so these are like the reflections that are happening in the mirror, or like the clouds going by in the sky. Whereas who we really are is the infinite capacity to reflect anything. So that, in quality of the mirror, that's who we really are.
The quality, not the mirror itself.
And not
just
the passing
quality
reflections.
Of the mirror. But I just wanted to say that a melong is an object that people wear or they put on their altar to remind them of that interreflectivity that they are. Okay, so here we have the Bhava Chakra. You want to say that? Or
why don't you read it?
All right, I'll just read it.
Well, it's the 6 realms of samsara.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with it Yama chowing down on the world cookie there. You know, you're in the grip, you know, until you can step outside of the circle of duality and samsara, you know. You notice, like, the Buddha is outside, but he's also in each realm, called in as a bodhisattva, you know, to deliver the, hey, you know, it's just like a matter of the way you see things. So you can wake up, everybody is already awakened, actually. They just have obscurations to accessing their already awakened state. That's what the spiritual path is just cleansing the mirror, in a sense, and getting to your true nature.
Well, you have what are some of the realms that you have? You have the hungry ghosts. That's always, like how many of us have hungry ghosts? They're just like, the neck is very thin, but the belly is very large. It's like hard to get it in there and never gets filled, but it's just so big to fill it, So there's that, and there's the hell realms, and there's, the highest realms. There's the animal realms. There's different realms in that wheel, and the yama is at the top, chowing down. Yama. Okay. Dharma.
Right.
Chakra.
Well, okay, so in Buddhism, the way is, people have heard of the Four Noble Truths. So you have, maybe we'll get a lesson in them later.
Supremely educated and intelligent and brilliant and beautiful person coming to talk to us about Buddhism today.
Right.
So let's not try to overdo that, but
exactly.
This is another version of the wheel.
Well, I love this idea of the Eightfold Noble Path. This is like the way of liberation in their path, because they say that life is suffering. This is the thing. Now you can see there's something that you're trying to get liberated from. If life is suffering, or like the Dalai Lama likes to say, perpetual unsatisfactoriness. If you're not suffering, perhaps it's like,
or like Gilda would say, it's always something. Didn't she say that? It's always something, and you really notice that, from a very early age.
So this is the, like kind of the fly in the ointment, of life and stuff, and like how do we deal with ourselves and our minds and things, and so and then of course that you discover that attachment is the cause of it.
Yes, attachment is the cause of suffering.
But there's a way beyond this kind of attachment.
There is a way. That's the third.
And then
Noble Truth.
that's the that's the Eightfold Noble Path is the way.
Yeah.
And so it's symbolized here in each spoke. Now these are the right view. Everything's connected, folks, and we've already talked about the underlying nature. And then, so the right intention comes out of it. And so out of that right intention, the right words come. And then from out of that, the right actions come. From the right speech, the right action. Then the right action, the right livelihood.
Right livelihood, yeah.
See? So
right livelihood is like doing something that you don't feel ashamed of. That's what really, that's the sort of, something, not proud, not saying proud, but that you don't feel ashamed. You feel good about it. Right livelihood.
It's like serving. And
serving.
So then, of course, there's other elements, like the right effort to put into it, So you have a livelihood, but you want to put the right effort into it, the right love, the right devotion. But then you have to have mindfulness, the right mindfulness to watch out. Hey, you're pushing too hard. Like, look, let up. And so that's the right mindfulness. And then the right concentration is like laser beams. What's your spiritual concentration to really snap your fixations and open up?
So these are like 8 practices, and they all comprise the Fourth Noble Truth. Okay, here we go. Tongue draw.
Someone I love so much is Padmasambhava, who's a great teacher that this was modeled after, actually, and he approved this as a model, but as a monk called in to help to bring Buddhism to Tibet, we like this term liberation through seeing, and I think that I first encountered it when I encountered Padmasambhava.
Yeah. Let's keep going. There's Alex's version of Padmasambhava.
So
Beautiful
it's
piece.
the idea that you can plant a seed of liberation in the mind stream of the viewer, I think, is one of the most beautiful aspirations for art. And so that's the idea, is with most of the Tibetan art. And so that, in some senses, it's certainly at the root of what I'm trying to do too. And so this is a great book.
This is probably Alex's favorite book ever. It's been so falling apart. You've probably gotten several other copies.
True. But it's available on Wisdom of the Masters on Spotify if you ever want to check it out. It's called Self-Liberation Through Seeing with Naked Awareness. It's an intriguing title, but it's sort of one of Padmasambhava's masterpieces.
It's available as an audiobook. You could listen to it while you're painting.
Check it.
That's how wonderful it is. It's just wonderful. We've read it many times. We've read it together. Okay. This is one of Alex's paintings.
Right. So the Ati Buddha, like in their concept, like there's these realms of existence, that the Buddha exists on. But in the highest realm, it's beyond depiction. You can't make a picture of it. But they kind of allow this symbolization of this state. But it really is not. It's beyond all forms and beyond all symbols. But for the sake of simplicity, and because we're humans, and because the Buddha is the Buddha, you've got a symbolization of the awakened one as the truth realm. They call it the Dharmakaya, the very truth. And so this being represents that voidness, emptiness, clarity of the truth realm, embraced by all of the dimensions of manifestation. So one is the transcendent, and one is the expression of all of the universe, like basically, the cosmos itself. And so the emptiness and everythingness is this in a love embrace. What a beautiful idea. What an idea of God. That this transcendent and immanent exists in this permanent smoldering kiss. What a beautiful idea. If you can access that as the truth of what's going on beyond everything else, that's liberation.
And this is liberation through seeing. It's the black crown of the Karmapa. Tell us
That's right, the black hat of the Karmapa, supposedly woven from Dakini hair. When one look at it, and that plants a seed of liberation in the mind stream.
So
or
you
perhaps
could be enlightened by just looking at this
you're awakened all
hat.
at once, who knows?
Could be liberated by looking at the hat, That's what liberation through seeing means.
I'm not going to talk about this.
I wanted to say something about the Thangka painting,
All right.
though. The Thangka painting is a painting that Buddhists look at, and it has a story attached to it. It's like everything means something. It's all full of symbolic meaning that the meditator knows and is learning and is keying into. And so Alex created this Avalokitesvara.
I think Lama Droma is going to talk about it.
Okay.
Just to say
Good.
that the Dalai Lama is the earthly representative of this being,
Yeah, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
And that's what Alex is painting of the Dalai Lama as well. And this is, we actually have a wonderful video of it. You could probably see it on the CoSM.tv channel on YouTube. If you go to CoSM.tv, you can see the actual stop motion of them creating this mandala at CoSM. We've had two done. We did one here and one in the city. and they're just amazing.
But
We
you
should do
put it
again.
down, and then you, like at the end, you sweep it up. And this is one of the practices that Rosie and Mike bring to us, is like a kind of what are you doing?
I was trying to go back. I was trying to go
babe,
back. Oh,
okay.
just
All right.
I'm getting
Can
there.
I,
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay.
all right.
It's a little preview.
It's okay, it's okay.
That's where we're going. It's okay.
That's all right.
All right, here we go. Sorry. Anyway, I'm so excited because this is the Palpung Tibetan Choling Monastery in the town of Wappinger. Walking distance from here, we have one of the most beautiful monasteries. And you know that they're open to you. If you ever wanted to go and meditate with them, you could. It's incredible. And they have an amazing stupa. I mean, you talk about people really creating from scratch, right on the banks of the Hudson River. It's the most incredible monastery, and we've made good friends with Lama Droma, and it gives me chills. I'm just telling you, it's been an incredible, awareness that they're there. I'm just so touched that we have come to a place that has such a beautiful monastery. Oh, there we go. All right, honey. All right, not to worry. Would you like to take this one on, please?
For a little while. For just a second.
Go, sweetheart. Go.
Okay. Well, the icon is like one of those special things for the different religious traditions. And so, of course, we're coming towards, Easter and everything, so I wanted to at least say a few words about the Christian tradition and how important it's been for me. And the idea that really, like what happened to Christianity is not Jesus' doing. I just wanted you to think about that. And that the archetype has tremendous value, to human thought. Theosis. What a great idea. It's kind of similar idea, but coming closer to God through the contemplation of icons. Of course, that's what we want. That's what all the sacred art stuff wants, is that it brings you closer to what divinity is to you, And so, like, this is, like, so devotional. She's in relationship with the icon there, in a way that connects her with her tradition, It's an intense connection. One of the things about this time, and about Easter and everything, Good Friday, gee whiz, is that it called forth some of the most amazing artwork and some of the most amazing Western paintings. If you look at the history of Western art, it's really quite amazing. Like Hieronymus Bosch, who's just in this incredible visionary. But here you go. Christ is surrounded by the mocking crowd there, And then, of course, the grisly crucifixion that Matthias Grunewald put together is really intense. And it's like at this monastery where they took care of, like, patients who were lepers and had skin diseases and things like that. So they made sure that Christ had some of these skin diseases and things like that, and just so that you could fully identify, in a sense, with the suffering that the person was going through and that Christ was going through this. So that whatever, maybe you felt like there was a fusion of God and human in this symbol of Christ, and this symbol was suffering too. So, but the other side of the Eisenheim altarpiece is Christ resurrected. So here you have one of the most amazing kinds of symbols of this sun god, in a sense. Here you go. It's like this, the inheritor of the kind of crown of the sun god, which is like what Horus was. For the Western mind, has been Christ. Christ is the embodiment of the light. And so, as a beautiful symbol of human and divine fusion, what a beautiful idea. Now, just last year, we went to the, it was the British Museum, actually.
British Museum, yeah.
The British Museum, and they had an exhibit of Michelangelo's drawings. Now, I love Michelangelo. He's like my favorite artist. And so, here you go. It's like not surprising, there's a crucifixion by Michelangelo, and it's a drawing. And it was done, I don't know, probably early, or maybe in his 50s or 60s. And I'd say pretty realistic and just kind of amazing. And then something happened. Like later in his life, he started to do these crucifixions. And they got really sketchy. They got ghostly. They got strange. Like, look at that. You know, it's just kind of, is he there? He's kind of there.
It's like, how little can you show and still have a crucifixion of Christ, you know?
It's like really interesting. Like, look at that. You know, it's kind of like, how many arms does that figure have there?
But that's Mary and St. John at the base. And Mary is completely, her face is completely covered like a burqa, you know, almost. Yeah.
Well, one of the things about the cross that I noticed, like today, was this idea of verticality. Now, it's scary as hell, you know, because he's like crucified on the horizontal there. But the vertical is really kind of what the spiritual path is about, because it's not pointing you to success in the world. It's pointing you to a connection to your true north, you know? And so this aspect is something to like look for yourself, you know? What makes you stand upright? What gives you a good spine? You know, what is the top that you see and the bottom that you connect with? You know, that's what, and the top is limitless, you know?
Oh, what a terrible transition. Well, anyway, whatever. Book of Exodus. You know, liberation in Judaism. That's my tradition. Alex did grow up as a Methodist and began studying Buddhism almost as soon as we met, like in the mid 70s. And so that's been a passion of his that has added other religions to it, like Hinduism and even Islam. So anyway, but we're going to talk about all that. But this is a vision of the first Jew. I just wanted you to know the whole thing about the book of Exodus is that you have to know that Abraham was the first Jew, and he smashed all the idols. His father was an idol maker, so he smashed all the idols. He was a rebel, and he believed in the one God, and he was the first one to believe. And he actually, you know, he made a pact with the Almighty by being the first on record to have circumcised himself without anesthesia or antisepsis. That's what Abraham did, and it was his pact with God. That's the whole story, I'm telling you. It was his pact with God that he was devoted to the one God. But God told him that he would be the father of a great people. But he was in his 90s, and he still didn't have any children. His wife couldn't have children. Poor Sarah, she was unable to. But you know what? She was visited by an angel. Guess who else was visited by an angel? Sarah. They came and they said, "You are going to have a son." And she laughed because she was way past that, you know. So, but she laughed. But then they had a son, and they named it Isaac, and it means she laughed. So if you ever wondered, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Isaac means she laughed because that wasn't supposed to happen. But anyway, so here he is, the father of, but angels came to his door, and they told him that God told them that he was going to be the father of a great people. So he was actually the father of 2 sons. I'll go back to Abraham second. Oh no, that's no good. I'm doing this again. Okay, I'm going to go back to Abraham. Well, he had actually 2 sons. I just want you to know that Abraham had 1 son with Sarah, and that was Isaac. But he had another son with Sarah's handmaiden, Hagar, named Ishmael. And Muhammad was the descendant of Ishmael, because God told Ishmael that he would be the father of a great people. He also told Ishmael this, and this was his other son. But that's another story for another time. We'll keep going. Now his son Isaac had 2 sons, and Jacob, this one, came out on the heels of Esau. That means that they were twins, and he was the second born. In those days, only one son, the first son, would get everything. And the other son would have to go out in the world and find his own way. And they would do that, like be a shepherd or whatever. So Esau there sold his birthright as the oldest. He sold it to Jacob for a bowl of lentil soup. So that's how the story goes. I won't go into too much detail. 13 paintings by the Spanish artist Federico de Zuberan. Anyway, incredible artist. This is his portrayal of Jacob, and Jacob went on to have 12 sons. There they are. And if you ever wondered why they call Jews the 12 tribes of Israel, that's why. All of those 12 had families, and they had big families. And actually, Jacob had 12 sons, and guess what? 1 daughter. Only one. Can you imagine being the daughter with 12 brothers? Believe me, it caused problems, and there's stories about this, but I won't go into those either. It did cause problems. But Dinah was the sister of all these, and it led to war, actually, because they protected her so much, but you don't hear much about her. But if you want to know more about Dinah, read The Red Tent. Anybody read The Red Tent? Awesome. Oh, my God. It's an audiobook. You can listen to it while you're painting. Anyway, one of those sons, the youngest son, was Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Now, if you ever heard of this show, Joseph was the son that Jacob loved the most. That causes problems. They bring this stuff a lot in the story. It causes problems when the parents pick favorites, and he did. And he picked Joseph, and he gave him an amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So guess what all his brothers did? They kidnapped him, basically poured blood all over his coat, goat blood, and then they put him in a pit, and then when a caravan was coming by, they sold him as a slave. And the caravan picked him up and took him to the palace where they were taking the slaves. So that's what happened to Joseph. But let's see, what do we have next? Joseph, no, I don't have that next. I just wanted to say that, oh God, I did it again. Darn. Okay, I just wanted to say that Joseph, he could divine dreams. This is important to the story. He could divine dreams. He could tell the stories, that he was in prison, and he could tell them what their dreams meant, and he could read the stars. So he ended up meeting with the Pharaoh and predicting and saving the country from famine. And he sort of, according to the story, he kind of invented siloing, He the silos came right out of that. And anyway, so he saved them, and he became the prime minister. This is one of the Jews, became a slave, down in prison, became a prime minister. He really rose to the top. That's the story of Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Well, he was the prime minister, and all of his brothers came, and all 12 tribes, and they all grew and flourished, and everybody loved them for a while. But then they got so big and strong that the Pharaoh and all of his minions began to worry that he was going to overpower them and take them over. So guess what? The Pharaoh made this edict that all firstborn babies that were boys were to be drowned. And all the midwives were supposed to adhere to this, whereas the females were going to be allowed to live because they wanted to intermarry with these, people. So, so Moses' mother noticed that the princess bathed in the river every day at a certain time. So she and her Moses' sister wove this basket because he was, their first son. They wove this basket and they plugged it all up with tar and they put the baby in and they floated it down the river just as the princess was taking her bath. And so she became like enthralled with this cute little baby. And she probably was a teenager too, and she probably felt bad about all this. And she wanted to take this baby home and adopt. So she took the baby home, but meanwhile, the mother and the sister were on the banks of the river, and they ran along. They said, well, we could wet nurse your baby, because, they actually just had babies, so they had some milk. So they went home with Moses. So you have to picture Moses growing up in the palace, with education, where where all of his people were enslaved because they started to take away all their rights, just like it's happened to other peoples before. And they became slaves, and they made mud bricks, and they worked hard. And we went to Egypt, and we saw the mud brick walls that they built around the temples. They didn't build any temples. They built the mud brick walls that surrounded the temples. And so, anyway, they became slaves, and this woman did not want to see her son drown, so she gave him up to the princess, and he grew up as an educated young man. Well, there she is, finding the baby. This is the princess finding the baby. I love this artist, by the way. He's done the entire Exodus. He's probably done the whole Bible, but the Exodus he's done superbly, and not that long ago. Well, Moses grew up there in the palace, and he went out on the patio one day, and he saw a taskmaster beating one of the Jewish slaves to death. Now, his mother and sister did not keep it from him that he was one of them. But so he went down there, he got very angry, and he killed the taskmaster. He was the prince. He was like the adopted son of the Pharaoh. So he went out there and he killed the taskmaster. And as a result, nobody trusted Moses. Nobody could, like the people of the Egyptian people, they don't trust him. If he gets away with it, is it because he's the adopted son of the... his own people didn't trust him either. Like, he can get away with murder. He can just come out here and murder anybody. No. So he realized it was in a very difficult situation. So he headed to the hills. This is another image from a different century of Moses. I love to look at the art of this whole thing. Anyway, so Moses killed the taskmaster. So Moses fled to the hills. Moses ran away to the hills, and he happened upon a group of 7 ladies who were trying to get their flocks to the well when these marauding dudes were keeping them from the well. They were taunting them. So Moses fought them off and found out that they were the 6 daughters of Jethro, and that he was a shepherd, and he had a big flock, and they were, shepherdesses. So he went and he went there. He became a shepherd, married one of his daughters, and wanted to marry the other one, but she was too young. Eventually, he married both Leah and Rachel, and had 12 sons by the 2 of them. But one day he was out there with his sheep, with his flocks. He was a really good animal husbandryman. And so he had this great, ability to raise flocks, and he was out there in the field with all that dung all over the meadow and all the mushrooms that were all growing on the meadow, and he's got to have a snack once in a while. And he encountered a burning bush. The bush was burning. It was inflamed, but it was not consuming the bush. What was going on? That you see flames, but it's not consuming the bush. Okay, how many of us have seen flames? Not consuming anything? I think that's really possible. So, but anyway, beautiful depiction. And this one is a depiction of the same thing, Moses in the Burning Bush by Ernst Fuchs. We have a painting by Ernst Fuchs. It's in the Gray House. You'll see it when you go over there tonight. It's in the parlor. It's David and Bathsheba. He did a lot of biblical themes. So this is a wonderful another encounter. And this is Ernst Fuchs' self-portrait, actually, with the long red beard. He was an Austrian, and he had a long red beard. He was a great artist. Anyway, Moses in the burning bush. So the bush was saying to him, the bush began to talk to him. It said, first of all, the bush said, he said, who's talking to me? Who is this talking to me, Moses says. And the bush says, I am. That's the name of what, so they basically, Adonai, but I am. So he said, take off your shoes and pray. This ground you're walking on is holy ground. So he did. And then the bush proceeded to tell him, the voice of God, proceeded to tell him that it was his responsibility to go back to Egypt and free his people. Now, he killed somebody, he ran away, he got 12 sons, you get back to town and do the thing that you're supposed to do. And this is what he heard from God. And this is, so he went back, and you can imagine that he was probably up there for a couple, for 20 years or something. He was gone and got 12 kids, 13 kids. And he took this whole family back there, and he confronted the Pharaoh. Now, who is the Pharaoh now, after he's been gone for some kid that he probably grew up with. This is the way I figure it. I mean, I'm making this stuff up, but still. I mean, I figure he lived there. He went away for a bunch of time, came back, and confronted some guy he grew up with and actually knew, but they were both very educated. And he said, let my people go. That's the story we know. And so he wouldn't, of course, and we know about the plagues. So this was the first one, the blood plague. And then there's all those 10 plagues. We will go through them in art, but these are all the plagues. Yeah, you got to do a special ritual at the Seder about the 10 plagues. And so this is the second plague, was the frogs. These are old, depictions. I just love these old depictions of every scene of this story. And this is a more contemporary one by our friend James Lamont, who let's see, what was that? The ghost, the gnats and the flies. The gnats and the flies. And then there's the, you tell me, what does it say? The cattle dying. All the cattle was dying. There we go. And then you have boils on people. Now it's starting with people. It was on animals and gnats and flies before, but it's really beginning to bug them. And it keeps coming. Because every time he goes back, he says, let my people go. And he says, no, not doing it. And so he pleads with them to do it. He's like, So it's basically a test between these two guys about whose God is stronger. That's really what's going on. They're measuring and whose God has more power. So the seventh plague of Egypt is the fire and thunder, just constant fire and thunder. They had great darkness. Which one does this one say? Locusts. Oh my God. I love this picture because it doesn't really, you don't see any individual locusts in this picture. You just see the sky being darkened by locusts. And then you have this one, which is way earlier, showing the locusts coming through the clouds from God. Look at that. It's a Christian image of this particular scene. The locusts are coming through. Okay. Well, so the Jews were instructed to put a bloody X mark from a lamb. They were supposed to sacrifice a lamb because they were going to skedaddle. They were going to get out of town. So they had to get rid of some of their livestock. They had to slaughter something and take some food with them. So they slaughtered a lamb. They made a big X on the door, and the angel of death was instructed by God to pass over the doors of those that had those bloody X's on them. So that's where the name Passover comes from. Pesach. It's the word in Hebrew, but it's Passover. So here you have another depiction of, earlier, of the angel coming to the door. Well, it's not another. They were marking the door. Now there's the angel at the door. And so then there was the death of the firstborn sons. That's coming right round circle, And the Pharaoh's son died, and that was the straw. That was definitely the straw. And there's a definite discussion in the Torah about how, God did not want all of his children, to kill children. It's just, it's not okay. So Moses parting the Red Sea, we know about that story. We've seen it on the great wide screen, maybe. You should watch it. It's really great, the Ten Commandments. And a lot of depictions of the opening of the sea. It's really ripe for visionary interpretation, right? And then, of course, the Pharaoh changed his mind and sent the horses after him, and they were all devoured by the sea. And that is where God especially says, I don't like to see all my children being devoured by anything. So the Ten Commandments, Moses was in the Sinai. They had to figure out all the laws. They got to figure out how they're going to live. This was the beginning of a civilization. It was really the first democracy in some ways, although women weren't even counted. Cattle were counted in the book of Numbers, but not women. But anyway, so here's where Moses goes up to the mountain to get the first, the Ten Commandments, the laws. Could talk forever on these things. There he is, by Rembrandt van Rijn, and I have to show you that Obama, Barack and Michelle had Passover in the White House, 2011. Isn't that adorable? That's what a Seder looks like with a big family. And I just wanted to tell you, because listen, in order to have a Seder, there are only two things that you need for a Seder. There's two things that you need. It's the shortest Seder, and that is, why did I do that? Okay. What happened? There we go. So you have to tell what all the different symbols are. Really quick, I'm going to do it. And then you have to tell the whole story of the story of Exodus, which I already did. So yay. So here, but that's a Seder. You tell the story of Exodus, and you do the food. So I'm going to do the food. You got the bone. You got the lamb bone, which is the marking of the X and all that. So you roast a lamb shank, and you have the egg, which is of course springtime and renewal, and you have the the spiny green, which is kind of like have a spine, have some strength. It's like the the strength of spring and renewal, and parsley and salt for the tears, and how the suffering of the slaves, and the haroset, which is the chopped up apples and nuts with honey and red wine that you make because of the the great abundance that we have now compared to there, and also to represent the mortar that had to be put between the bricks that they built all those brick walls and everything. And then, of course, there's got to be wine. There's got to be matzah, which is it's the bread of affliction. The bread of affliction that they took with them because they didn't have time for the bread to rise because they had to flee so quickly out of Egypt before they changed their mind. And anyway, so they brought matzah with them. And I just want to say about Egypt, I have so many wonderful, mystical, psychedelic Egyptian friends that I took all of that stuff out of my Haggadah. CoSM, except for the mention of them historically, but I think 5,000 years ago, come on, I love those people. So I love the temples that they built, and I loved seeing the mud bricks around them that my people built. So it's really all about forgiveness, and we just love you. Thank you for listening to the shortest Seder. That was pretty long, but they're really long.
Yeah. That was beautiful, though, and it gave us a sense of liberation from all different perspectives. Like the Christ story is more like the individual, and then the books of Moses are all, and this kind of liberation of Passover is, like the transition out of the tight place. That was the name that they gave to Egypt. So let's see.
I just love this statement anyway, and I think it's Alex's statement. Do you want to read it?
Confess wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Ask forgiveness. Grant forgiveness. Surrender to love.
Well, I think we should say the beginning too. What is liberation, Alex? Liberation is freedom from enslavement and suffering. Liberation can mean an openness to possibilities. That's us now. Salvation means being saved for a divine purpose. What is our divine purpose? Redemption restores divine relationship. Forgive all wrongdoings, if not for only selfish reasons, let me say. Forgive all wrongdoings, because it just hurts you to keep that up. Let it go.
Beautiful. Well, Delacroix, there at the Louvre. Liberation itself and liberty has been symbolized, certainly in the liberty here. She's got a Phrygian cap, which is the cap of the freed enslaved. And so, she's...
She let her dress down, too.
Yeah,
and it's
looks like.
It's obvious. There's nobody else in the picture with the dress let down. But what does that mean? It means she is not paying attention to that, okay? She doesn't care. Here, look at him. Whatever, Let's have some liberation. There you go.
The naked truth. Yeah. And wow, hey, it's still in the harbor, and it's still a beautiful symbol of what America could be.
And those French people, you know what? They are really loving us now. They are seeing us, and they are seeing what we're going through. And I've been seeing their posts. They're amazing.
That's true.
Bunches of French people. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, look, it's also coming toward April 19th, and I have to say 420 as well, which is like Easter. I didn't put my green Jesus in there. I'm sorry.
But we call it the high holidays.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they're coming up.
They are coming up.
Because you got your 419, which is the birth date of LSD. Mm-hmm. And then you also have 420, which is the symbol of cannabis, which is a liberating quality.
So I don't know whether we ever got our reinstallation of the reproduction. Yes, we did. But we have this piece downstairs called Albert Hoffman and the New Eleusis, and it contains kind of a story of the Western tale of psychedelics. But as part of it, there is also his tie. And if you look closely at his tie, you can see that it's a little bicycle guy, and he's running the whole molecule there. And it's Bicycle Day on 4/19, which is next Saturday. And so it's celebrated because he was a scientist who discovered LSD. Many of you know the tale. And he took a famous ride from his lab where he took the LSD to his home, where he was going to die peacefully because he thought for sure he had poisoned himself. And so Basel, Switzerland was distorting madly as he was driving through town, but he was followed by his assistant who said he made good time. And she was the second one to take LSD, and she was like 23 or something? But she was his assistant there in the lab. and made sure that a doctor came over and that he was looked after, and he recovered and found that this could be a breakthrough medicine because it really led him to some mystic places in himself. So thank you, Albert. And then at Spango
this is where we'll
that's
be next
where we'll
Saturday,
be
on
next
Bicycle
Saturday.
Day.
Yeah.
We'll be in San Francisco.
Exactly.
We've been doing that, and people may wonder why don't we do Bicycle Day at CoSM, because we celebrate it and talk about it so openly. But it may I don't know. We're still waiting on that, and I'm not saying it'll never happen. It's just diverting it to San Francisco seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
We're a really, we're actually a interspiritual art church, and CoSM is, and so we're legit. So we try to.
Yeah,
be
there
legit.
is an LSD chapel just down the road, though. If you're into that, it is an LSD chapel.
But it's
nearby.
ELLESSDEE, and it was,
Yeah.
and it came to pass like decades and decades before
Right.
Dr. Hoffman.
So the angel said, "Wait for it. It's gonna be funny." Yeah, it's on the way to Lama Dromas.
Well,
I
we'd feel remiss if we didn't have this picture on the screen right now.
That's right.
To impress upon you that we are. What happened to our picture? All right.
Oh well, you saw it. It's all the faces.
Back.
All the faces on the building. That's
Damn.
what our goal is as a community. Is that's where we're going next with this building. We're converting it into a sculpture, and we're going to have we have an engineer and we have concrete specialist. Like all kinds of folks
We're
are
assembling the
like
team. That's what we're
lining
doing.
up
There
to
it is.
help create
oh, this is why they took it off the screen, because they wanted to show you this.
They wanted.
This is the faces
We're
of
going to
Entheon.
create this. Actually, we can do like projections on this thing, but what an amazing thing it will be! It's about interconnectedness. It's about unity. So this is the goal that we're collectively focused on now: is finishing the building. Basically.
So listen. Just let me ask you to do this before you leave the building. Go into the inspiration room, which is right next to where the register is. The registrar there. That room there, that little room, it's a tiny little room. I don't know how many of you have visited it, but take a look at the picture of Entheon, because visioning it into being is what we are projecting. We're basically keep looking at it. The more people see it, the more people know about it. They look at it, they see it, they know about it. This is the way we manifest other things. All the other things of this building so far, really, by visioning them into being. And so, help us in that way. And you are helping us tonight
just by coming
being
tonight,
here so much.
Exactly.
Yes,
by coming here
it.
tonight, you're like temple builders with us. Right. Seeing that thing, imagining it with us, is like helping this whole thing to happen. Because I think it happens on a subtle level. This is a spiritual thing. This is church. You're helping to bring in the spirit. You're grounding it in, like we're trying to, like basically make, we're worshiping this one spirit that encompasses everything, and it's, we're just putting a face on it. We're symbolizing it. We're saying, we're humanizing it. We know it's not really that, it's a symbol. It's art, and it's can only be done successfully collectively.
It's a Carney Barker is what it is. It's a come on in. Come on in. If it's so wild and crazy and gorgeous and amazing out here, what could it be like inside? So come on in. And that's really the the energy that we're putting into this visual sculpture of a building. So we want you to be a part of it. Find out more about it. Join us. We have a benefit dinner coming up. Be part of everything that we do, and we just love seeing you so much. We're going to hand the show over to the next person who's supposed to be talking to me.
Hillary was going to come up. Our staff member.
This
Hillary.
is our general manager, Hillary, who is a great painter as well.
Yeah,
She has so many talents that she is also a leader of kirtan. And
Yes.
she is going to lead us in kirtan. Well, because you say something about Hanuman, okay? Yes, you will.
I don't think this is on. It's not right. Okay. Yes, there you go. Hi, everybody. So, like Alex and Allyson mentioned, today is Hanuman's birthday. It's Hanuman Jayanti. Hanuman is one of the gods, one of the many gods in the Hindu tradition. And one of the things that is really special about him is he can do anything, but he has forgotten that. So the Hanuman Chalisa is a long prayer. It's 40 verses in praise of Hanuman. I'm going to sing it, and if you happen to know it, you're welcome to sing along with me.
Please.
Please do. It is a lot of words, so you don't have to. But it's auspicious just to hear it, and every different little phrase is sort of just a different story about him and all of the wonderful things that he does. So we sing it to remind him of all the things he can do, and to remind ourselves of that. So I'm gonna sing. I don't have my harmonium, but just gonna be a cappella tonight. So thank you. Mangala Murati Marutananda Sakala Mangala Mulani Kandana Mangala Murati Marutananda Sakala Mangala Mulani Kandana Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nichamana Mukuru Sudari Varanon Raghubara Bimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachari Buddhina Tanujanike Sumiron Pawana Kumara Balabudhi Vidya Deo Mohin Haraukale Sabikar Siyawara Ramachandra Paraje Sharanam Jaya Hanumana Jnana Gunasaka Jaya Kapishati Unloka Ujaga Ramaduta Tulita Baladama Anjani Putra Pawana Sutanama Mahabira Bikrama Bajarangi Kumati Niwara Sumati Kesangi Kanchana Barana Biraja Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa Hata Bajora Tocha Biraje Kande Munja Jane Yushangi Kankara Suwana Kesari Nanda Teja Pratapa Mahajagabanda Vidyavana Guniyati Chatu Ramakaja Karibe Koatu Prabhu Charitra Sunibe Korasiya Ramalakana Sita Mana Pasya Sukshma Rupa Darisya Indikawa Bikata Rupa Darilan Gajarawa Bhima Rupa Asura Sangari Ramachandra Ke Kaja Sanvari Laya Sajiwana Lakana Jiyai Shri Raghubira Rashiora Lai Raghupati Kini Bauta Parai Tuma Mama Priya Bharatai Samabai Sasamanana Tumaroya Sagawin Asakai Shri Pati Kandala Gawin Sanakadika Brahma Dimonisa Narada Sharada Saita Isa Yamakubera Tigapala Jante Kabiko Biraka Isake Kante Tuma Upakara Sugriva Inkina Rama Milaya Raja Paradina Tuma Maro mantra vibhishana mana Lankeshwara Bhaisa Bhajagajana Yuga Sasra Jojana Paravanu Lyoyotai Madhura Palajanu Prabhu Mudrika Mele Mukamahin Jaladi Lange Gaya Charajanain Durga Makaja Jagata Kejete Sugamanu Gratumaretete Rama Duare Tumarakaware Otanagya Binu Pesare Sabasukalai Tumari Sharana Tumarakshakaka Ukodarana Apana Teja Samaro Ape Tinon Lokan Gaten Kanpe Bhutani Sachane Gatana Inawe Mahabira Jabana Masunawe Nasero Gare Sabapira Japatani Randana Numatabira Sankata tena numana churawe Manakama bachana dhyana jolawe Sabapara matapasvi raja Tinake kaja sakala tumasaja Ora manorata joko ilawe Soyamita jewana palapawe Charon yuga parata patamara He parasida jagata uchiara Sadhu santa ke tumara kaware Asurani kandana ramadulare Ashta siddhi no nidhi ke data Asavaradina janaki mata Rama rasayana tumare pasa Sadara raghupati ke dasa Tumare pachana ramako pawe Janama janama ke dukkha visarawe Andakala raghubara purajai Jahan janamari bhakta kai Ora devata chittanadarai Anumata se sarva sukha karai Sangata kate mite sabapira Josumire anumata balabira Jai 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 anumana gosai Kripa kara gurudeva kinai Josatavara pata karakoi Jutai bandima sukahoi Joya pari anumana chalisa Oya siddhi saki gorisa Tulasida sasadari chera Kijena tardaya mandera Pavanatanaya sangatarana Mangala murati rupa Ramalakana sita saita Hridaya basau surabhupasya Vararamachandra parajaya sharanam Mangala murati marutananda Sakala mangala mula nikanda Mangala murati marutananda Sakala mangala mula nikanda Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Sitaram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai
Wow, thank you
that was so
much.
incredible. I just want you to know that that one image of Hanuman that you saw there, where he was opening up his chest, is on Alex's painting of Ram Dass. And Hillary, we had the great pleasure of being present when Hillary did kirtan for Ram Dass at the Stone Chapel in Maui. So, that, you know, I mean, Hillary has clearly
Hillary brought the
excels.
Ram Dass painting to Ram Dass after singing this for a week with Krishna Das. She got an emergency telephone call. You have to drop everything and bring this painting with you on a plane over to have it signed by Ram Dass.
Yeah, I think she had to buy a seat for it,
So it was
too.
just like, oh, it was just right at the end of this week of singing.
But I love this painting. Ram Dass inspired my life, absolutely changed my life, okay? Reading his book, Be Here Now, changed my life when I was like 19 years old. And I saw Secret Writing. But it was because Ram Dass recommended, you know, having that experience in my dark room by myself. And I never thought of doing such a thing. So it came to change my life. And I visualized Ram Dass in front of me while you were doing that. It's so incredible. I love that man. All right, well, anyway, let's move along. We have such a great big program, and thank you for your attention.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, Hillary. Let's
Wow.
just say hello. Thank you to Hillary one more time. There you go. All right, so now I think I should vacate. Oh, we have a chair for Lama Drama.
We absolutely
Perfectly.
do.
Oh.
It's our profound honor to welcome to the stage Lama Droma, our dear friend who helped us to open Entheon and our opening ceremony. So thank you for returning to Entheon, Lama Droma.
Very good evening. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Allyson and Alex, for inviting me to this very sacred place on this very auspicious day, full moon and Hanuman Jayanti. I'm so happy to be here. And, you know, this rendition was so heart-touching. And in February, I was in Uttar Pradesh in India, and I was at a wonderful gathering called the Mahakumbha Mela, and there were people who had gathered there for 40-day span, and it was a religious gathering of devotion, reverence, and it was all for this theme, to liberate oneself, for the liberation. And guess how many people had gathered in that 40-day span? It was 620 million people from all over the world. The shamans were there, the Buddhists were there, of course the Hindus, the kings, the billionaires, the millionaires, the paupers, the ordinary people, the local people, people from Israel, people from all over the world, and I think I probably am repeating this, the shamans were there. This phenomena, this amazing event happens every 6 years, but this year it was so amazing because the planetary configuration happens only in 144 years. And in this space, the river, Yamuna and Ganga met, And then Saraswati is that very mysterious river. All three rivers meet in this one space, and all these people had gathered there to have a dip in that sacred water to attain moksha. And moksha is liberation. So it was phenomenal. I was so lucky to be there. And it was chaotic. It is India. Honks were honking. Everything possible was going on. But in that space was absolutely peaceful. It was so mesmerizing that all these people could meet here for just one thing, to attain liberation. So I'm so glad today's theme is liberation, because when I came home after that wonderful event, all I could think was just one word: amazing. So I know when I came here to America, to the Western world, and I realized people were in such turmoil. They were so scared. There was fear. There was anxiety of what is happening, and everybody, I'm sure, is affected by all the things that's happening here. But I want to reassure you all. Remember, just a few months, this was in the month of February, everybody had gathered there, 620 million minds, energy of wanting peace. So that energy, whatever you're feeling, will surpass all the negativity. So be rest assured that that positivity will trail, will win, will survive. And then I want to thank Hillary for that wonderful rendition of Hanuman Chalice. And in this place in Prayagraj was a beautiful temple of Hanuman. And apparently, the story goes that Ram, that Hanuman was so devoted to, told Hanuman to rest in that area, and they built a temple. So all these mythological stories, what we think is like so far-fetched, the Hanuman really lived there. He rested there, and there's this beautiful temple of Hanuman. I wish I don't have a very clear picture, but I do have pictures of that. And what was Hanuman's, Hanuman's affection and devotion was also another form of liberating your mind. The Grace spoke about seeing and being liberated. And the Chalice, the Hanuman Chalice, is listening and being liberated, because we are all connected to the divine source. And these are all different ways of becoming of that seed in our mind, so we can all be liberated. So the highest human potential, in the Buddhist tradition we believe, is to become enlightened. And we are all divine spirits in human bodies. And this is what Buddha came to teach, that he came to teach that everyone here, because of this divine spirit, has the potential to become liberated. And so, what is the highest state of mind for liberation? The highest state of mind for liberation is to have a compassionate state of mind. And a compassionate state of mind is a practice. You may say, oh my God, look what's going around. How can I be compassionate? I have anger in me. I have a lot of fear in me. I have a lot of uncertainty, everything coming out. But that is what most of these spiritual traditions are doing. We practice to have this compassionate state of mind. And so, mindfulness is so important for liberation. And I'm going to teach you a few steps, mindfulness meditation, how to cultivate compassion in your heart all the time. And having this compassionate state of mind, it is almost like it is what the Greys, Alex and Allyson, had summarized in the Buddhist teachings, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. The first of Buddha's teaching was that life is unsatisfactory. It's not suffering. Not a lot of us are not suffering at this moment. But even today, when you were planning to come here, there was rain and the roads were slippery, and there was a little bit of uncertainty. A little bit of, oh my God. So that's what that whole thing about that first noble truth, and then he gives us the path how you can have realization. And it is one of the highest realization is to have compassion in your heart. And when you have compassion in your heart, it's also easy to manifest things. So here's a small meditation technique, how you can practice mindfulness. So when you practice mindfulness meditation, there are two aspects, and one aspect is your body posture. It's always good to have your body posture, your back straight, your spine straight. And, as you're sitting on the chair, just keep your feet parallel to the ground. And with your hands, you can just place it on your knees like this. I know there are different traditions of practice, and all of that is fine. But the tradition that I'm teaching you is from the Buddhist tradition. So we'll all sit upright. And let's inhale and exhale and put our mind's attention on our breath. Very gently, at your own pace, you're going to breathe normally. Inhale and exhale through your nose. And this is a visualization meditation as well. And visualize in your heart center a beautiful, brilliant white light. And the light is filled with loving kindness and compassion. And bring to mind the feeling of someone who has loved you so deeply. Perhaps your mother, your grandparents, your sibling. The feeling of absolute loving kindness and compassion. A beautiful white light. And sitting in front of you and facing you is yourself, a reflection of yourself. And this beautiful white light transfers, goes into yourself who's sitting in front of you and facing yourself and filling yourself with loving kindness and absolute compassion. And just watch what is triggering in you. You're perhaps feeling unworthy. You're feeling fearful, anxiety. Whatever you're feeling at that moment, just acknowledge it. Again, visualize from where you are sitting, this beautiful light of compassion and loving kindness goes towards you, who's sitting in front of you, filling you with this healing light of compassion. And visualize that you're completely healed. And just let's sit for a few moments. Just inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. and visualize yourself sitting in front of you, filled with this light of loving kindness and compassion. These are one of the techniques that you can do when you have anxiety, fear, and send out this white light of loving kindness and compassion again to yourself, your reflection facing you, and expand this light to the whole universe in a second. Let that light fill this entire room, sending this light of loving kindness and compassion to everybody around you. And then let it go into this whole universe, filling this universe with loving kindness and compassion. And let's sit for a few moments reflecting on this. Wonderful. Slowly open your eyes. Come back to this present moment. And these are the techniques that we do in the monastery to shift our mindset when we feel negative to something positive. And this is a practice. Right now, you may feel, oh, did that light go to everyone? You know, you may have a lot of concepts and questions, and that's okay. But this is a beautiful practice. You know, I'll explain that you sit, it's a visualization technique. You visualize yourself in front of you and send out this beautiful light of compassion to yourself, to everyone around you. And I can be so positive to let you know that this is a state where you can also manifest whatever you want. Visualize that story that you want in your life. Because you are, when you're sending out loving kindness and compassion to everyone, you're in a state of positivity. And that's the state where you can manifest a lot of what you want. And it's a practice. And I want to thank everyone here for really coming, you know, regardless of the weather, you guys braved it up to be here. And that's a lot of courage. And that's liberation itself. You know, thinking out of the box, I'm going to go there. And there's so many beautiful people here, so many new people. And I'm so happy to do this wonderful sending and receiving mindfulness meditation. In fact, it's called Tongling meditation. It's a very sacred meditation, and it's more than 2,600 or 3,000-year-old meditation technique. It's called Tongling. So thank you, everyone. And I want to thank the Greys again, Alex and Allyson, for inviting me. This is such a sacred place. It's a sacred place because if you look at every artwork, every dot it went into it, there was an intention of creativity. And creativity is our state of being. And that's why I feel this place is so sacred. And I assure you, I am going to be living to seeing that wonderful image that you have of that beautiful sculpture. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone.
when you go into the Sacred Mirrors room here and you see the lotus in a little dish of rice that our Lama Drama left there at the opening. So I'm just saying, we have that connection between our two institutions, and I think it's a wonderful place to go and a wonderful place to just, see how it feels to do a little mindfulness meditation. It's so great.
Yeah, we're extremely grateful for your presence and your support, and feel like this is such a meaningful alliance for us, because I've had such a strong connection with Tibetan Buddhism. We both have. And so we're so grateful to,
yes.
And also, I wanted to hear a report about the Maha Kumbh Mela. Oh my God.
I did too. Listen,
amazing.
Lama Drama is somebody that you should follow on IG. She did a tour. I mean, she was so honored everywhere in India, and there was all these conferences, and she was always there meeting with all these people. And then there she is, bathing in the Ganges in her robes, just walking right in there, I mean, this is the Meha is the every 144 years. That was this one. And that's why the numbers, and they're always the largest gathering of human beings in the world every year, I think, but every 12 years, and then every 144 years, which was this year. I mean, really, it was serious.
I like the reminder that largest gathering is a spiritual gathering. And it is a spiritual gathering for the same reason, in some ways, that we met here tonight. And so that was a beautiful reminder.
Now, listen, we're gonna change gears here pretty seriously. So I just want to say, it might be a good time for us to just, do 3 ahs, just to kind of unify and like transition to another thing. So we just breathe in. Now tell us why we do ahs.
Okay, it's in honor of the Tibetan tradition that feels that this mantra is our primordial purity, our true Buddha nature, and so this kind of exemplifies that as a sound. And so if you do it 3 times, it's like your body, mind, and spirit, in a way, you could say, are pure and perfect.
Okay, here we go. That really feels like an altered state a little bit. I mean, really, come out of that.
Well, oneness. And
oneness. But now it's time for you all to have something to say. And we're going to do blessings and declarations, right, Alexa?
You betcha.
We're ready. So what it is who would like to make a blessing? It can be, like what a blessing is on anything. Or a declaration. That would be like something you intend. And when you declare it to your community, it like adds incredible force and empowerment to your intention. So, because a community that really, really cares about you will hold your feet to the fire. So when you say things like, we're going to build a temple and we're going to wrap it in sculpture, everybody from all over the world starts to say, how's that temple doing? And so they hold our feet to the fire. So we're going to do this. So, but anyway, you guys, your intentions, we want to hear them if you want to share them. Yes, somebody right here.
Alexa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dan. I was a practicing member of a Buddhist organization for 10 years. And if I may, I'd like to share the mantra that we chanted for specific goals. And I'd like to chant for the completion of Entheon and liberation, if that's all right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Love that.
Nam yo ho renge kyo. Nam yo ho renge kyo. Nam yo ho renge kyo. And that mantra means I devote myself to the mystic law of cause and effect through sound. And I've seen it do some incredible things. Thank you.
Beautiful, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Who else has a blessing or a declaration? Oh, there's one right back there. Alexa.
Hello. Hi, I'm Vivian, and a bunch of very strange Jungian synchronicities brought me here. And everything you guys say, it's so resonant with it's unbelievable. But I here now stand and I declare that to the best of my ability, I will spread my philosophy of that humor overpowers any and all travesty in this world. Do my very best at that. That's all. That's my declaration. Thank you.
Right on.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Hi. I don't know if this counts as a declaration, and I just want to, in a sentence, give you the backstory. Before I came here, I wrote a note to you guys. I don't know why. And I didn't know that you were so aware, or everybody just, I didn't expect Hanuman Chalisia to be recited or anything, but please accept this gada. Gada is a mace. This is what Hanuman swings. And I come from India, and the two people that introduced me to you, they belong to a community that reveres Hanuman. And it's unbelievable that I'm here today. And this is a token, if you accept it. It is us accepting you into our community and you accepting us as a reflection, a tiny fragment of a reflection of you in your community. So can I give this
Sacred
to you?
mirrors, yes, please. Why don't you take?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, what a, wow.
And also, I want to just show you this. I don't know why I carried it, and I don't know why I'm doing this, but...
Okay, this is supposed to be a blessing or declaration.
Sorry.
What are we doing here?
Sorry.
This is a mace.
This is a mace.
Sorry, I'm just, it's unreal because you said cycles of completion and things like that. It's, the things I've carried with me are the Buddha, the mace, and the Tibetan flags, which I also got for you.
Oh. Thank you, love. Thank you so much.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Now everybody's
My
going to think that they have to
friend.
come bearing gifts.
Thank you, thank
And
you.
that is just not the case. But
That's
we're
just
very
so
grateful. We'll hang this in a
meaningful.
very
Thank
significant
you,
place.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
This goes on our altar. I just want you to know what happens to things like this. You know, we have an incredible altar of wonderful things, but this one is an incredible gift, and don't feel that you must. Please. It's a gift to be here. I just want you to know that. So
now we're connected with the community, your community there. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Who else has a
that.
blessing
My
and declaration?
goodness.
How about over here?
I was going to do this guy here, and maybe we'll do one more.
And then we'll do
Yeah,
one
we gotta
more
keep it
after
rolling.
this. Just one more.
I just want to say, 16 years ago, I went to CoSM in New York City, and it changed my life. It was like one night, it was a full moon party. It was so special of a night that I actually got to get gonged inside of the chapel of Sacred Mirrors. That night, not only I met myself, yes,
The sound healing.
They
Yeah.
gonged me in there. So I met myself that night. I I understood about what meditation was, vibrations, the chakras, everything in one night. And it was so special that I said, I'm going to become an artist because this is the best thing for me. But here's the thing, it gets even better.
Yeah.
Because it was 16 years ago, right?
Okay.
So 8 years passed. All the tribulations of life and everything, right? Me trying to be a family guy, becoming an artist, still working in the world, but trying to become an artist. I was this close to give up. And I don't know why. I wrote an email here, like a random email. I just shot an email. And Allyson responded it and told me not to give up. And I was like, what?
I will respond to you.
She actually,
if you write to me, I will write you back. I'm
to
telling you.
And,
Won't I?
And right there, I picked it up again.
I'm so glad
and
you
now
remember
I'm
that.
an artist. I support my whole family with my art.
Oh, my
and
God.
every single person.
Woo! Right on.
And every single person that I meet, I tell them it was because of my experience at CoSM, because I understood the art, I understood, you guys and what you're about, and it just completely changed my life. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's just so wonderful. Okay, you pick the last
All right,
person,
one more.
Alexa. You go. Red.
That's
it
my
you.
favorite color.
There you go, red.
Thank you. So this is a blessing because I work with men. My name is Vela, so I'm going to read you because I speak Spanish all the time, so it's easier for me. I bless all the men in this world. May their healing journey guide them back to the divine masculine because we need them. That's my blessing for men.
Thank you. A blessing from men. How wonderful. What a great thing. Yeah. We sometimes have the theme of sacred masculine and divine feminine in a monthly theme. Well, anyway, now that we have done that.
Not time.
Oh, we have to have time for Katie. Katie's
Not really. Okay.
We got to keep rolling.
Got it.
We want to say hello to everybody out there in the world. We hear you and we get your comments, and Katie is here watching over you. I just want you to know. All right. Thanks there, Katie. Thanks so much. All right, onward. Now, oh, yes, this is where we're going. Well, tonight we may be thinking of loved ones, maybe even ourselves, who might be suffering distress in body or mind. Every CoSM full moon, we take a few moments to turn inside and hold in our heart those that might benefit from a healing prayer. To strengthen this blessing, recall the name of your loved one as we pray.
Great Spirit, thank you for blessing us with this day and for our precious body and soul. We feel the light of Spirit shining in our hearts, and as we breathe, a glow expands and surrounds us like a luminous sphere.
The brightness in our hearts magnifies as we join together in a gleaming web with thousands and countless others around the world, a luminous net of beings. From the superabundance of our combined energy field, we envision rays of healing light surrounding and protecting us, our friends and family.
May the light shine on all who need healing, and may Spirit renew each soul with creative power to rebuild stronger and weave peace and harmony across the earth. May the water, air, and fire and earth be purified, and the web of life be strong and resilient.
And together we say, Amen.
Amen. Some who are with us are grieving the loss of a family member or a friend, and we send our deep condolences to all those who are in mourning. We acknowledge the sacred space of sorrow and compassion that we carry for all those who are suffering on our planet. Remembering the brevity of life, we appreciate the beauty of every precious day.
Almighty Spirit, We remember the souls of beloved ones who have passed on. Cherishing them in our heart, they remain close. To evoke their memory, recall their names as we reflect together for a moment in silent prayer, sending a wave of love from our being to theirs. Together we say, may their memory be a blessing.
Mm. Well, we are going to have some future news with Alexa to change the mood a little.
The way you guys look at me, it's the best. Little side eye, I love that. Yo, y'all are some ride or dies tonight. Give it up for yourselves. Tonight's ceremony was like a loaded deli sandwich, and we ate the whole thing. I'm so happy you're here. As this comes to a close, we're really just getting started. You're about to have some serious transformations tonight, courtesy of some incredible music. Give it up to our heavy psychedelic metal rock band, Source, joining us all the way from Colorado. We're excited about that. They were sound checking earlier, and the entire event staff was like, okay. We were just like marching around. I wasn't marching, but like in my soul, I was marching. So love you guys. We're very excited to have them here. There's so many amazing experiences coming alive tonight. That is definitely one of them. We also have some live painting in action. Give it up for Ryan Gatt, Shannon Gatt, Mike Gamble, Illuminated Rose, and Lauren Byrne. They're going to be pushing pigments all night in the Gray House. That's also where the music will be. This will be open till about 11, but we have a whole other building. Isn't that cool? Yeah, we've been in here for a while. I wonder what it looks like out there. I wonder if it's raining. We may or may... It's not raining? Oh, it stopped. Sick. So we're going to have that bonfire going too then. We love bonfires. You know, you just stand there. It's like TV. It's just no ads. It's really great.
But there's fire spinners.
Yeah, we're gonna have a couple. We're gonna have a couple of them as well. It's gonna
do?
be great. Yeah, we weren't sure about the weather tonight, but I think summer still came out for the occasion anyways, because we like to send it here. Like I said, this is some ride or die energy out here, and we're really, really excited to be doing this tonight and every month. Rosie and Mike, how you doing? Great. You're great. They're gonna be leading the community sand mandala tonight.
That too? I wondered.
Yeah, she'll be painting next to the mandala, so we'll start that probably around 10-ish. Okay. Time's a construct, but we're going to maybe start that around 10. Rosie and Mike are also leading a mandala workshop in May 2nd to the 4th. First weekend in May, and there's only 2 seats left, so I'm just throwing a shameless plug about your class, because it's the best.
Oh, my God. Look at that. Only 2 seats left. Treat yourself. I'm just telling you. You can sign up tonight. Mayday. I would. They're going to go.
So ask them about that while they're here. We have some amazing sacred offerings. Alyssa Citarella is here. She's going to be doing some intuitive energy readings, which kind of incorporates your birthday mixed with the full moon, a little bit of astrology, a little bit of vibes. She's right here. I'm looking at her. Hey, girl. How you doing? So you can sign up for that in the Gray House shop if you're looking for some sort of activation to kind of set your intention for the month ahead. Definitely do that. Yo, it's our boy Charlie, head chef. It's his birthday today. Give it up for Charlie.
Oh, my God. I didn't even know it's Charlie was today. Oh, my God.
He's such a classic Taurus. He stays so low-key. So, also, he brought the curry back, and I have to give it up for the curry because it's so bomb. So, if you got the munchies, definitely go check out the curry. Go check out the Mushroom Cafe. Drinks, snacks. We got it. We got it for you. Very delicious. What else we got on our list? I mentioned the curry. It's in bold.
Grilled sandwiches, too. I say grilled sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, grilled sandwiches, obviously. I'm just in Curryland. All right. You guys mentioned a couple things, heading to San Francisco. We have this amazing benefit dinner at the end of April. We're going to do an original art auction, which is going to be pretty delicious.
Art. Actual original art.
A-R-T.
Yep, we're doing it. We're gonna raise money for the Faces of Entheon. And so that's where all that goes to. So it's an auction.
And
it's coming
Charlie
up.
makes dinner.
Right, and then we have a
it's
dinner.
good.
And those that are at the dinner are there for the final countdown. Anybody can call in to an auction and anybody can bid. But the people who are there with us at dinner will be there when we do the countdown and figure it, and it's all done.
Yeah.
So that's fun. It's
Love
just
it.
kind of a fun part.
We love benefit dinners.
Yeah, we got
I'll be there.
We got art by Alex, and we got art
Art
by
by
Allyson.
Allyson.
That's what we're doing. Yep.
Yeah, you can check that out, cosm.org/auction to see the works.
Because we give all the proceeds
Yeah, they give everything.
to the
Every
to the-
painting they
to the,
sell
yeah,
goes here.
we do it.
We love it. We love you.
Well, look, what else? Let's do this.
It's a cool vision you guys have been working on for 3-4 decades. I mean, I'm a big fan. Love it.
I love you. Thank you, Alexa. Everybody,
welcome.
give it up for
It's
Alexa.
sick.
Come on, this is for you, Alexa.
Y'all are great.
You are unbelievable. Who
We
knew?
have fun,
Who
you
knew?
know.
I had no
We
idea.
keep it light. We keep it fun. Cosmos is just has a multiplicity of offerings. Tonight's going to be great. If you ever want to be part of a workshop, definitely check out our calendar. We have figure drawing dates scheduled for the rest of the year. Our next one's coming up on the 27th.
Figure drawing every month.
Every month on
Do
a
it.
Sunday.
Come on.
On God's Day, we're going to
Wanna.
draw people. It's going to be really great. We have a bunch of classes that have sold out already. Your painting intensive, art intensive, autumn
Yep.
skies sold out as well. But we still have some sacred geometry slots open with David and Aloria in August. And then Rosie and Mike's class is about 2 seats left as well. And there's other classes into the fall. So bring it.
Keep looking for more classes here.
Keep looking. We got payment plans to support accessibility. Reach out anytime. Workshop@cosm.org. If you need help at all tonight, we got water stations and stuff. We have people with staff badges who are here to make sure that you're okay and having a good time. So if you need anything, if you need to ground out at all, we do have someone here and a dedicated peer support space to give you a moment of calm if you need. Because sometimes, we be stimulated. Yeah. So if we need to...
Sometimes it helps,
Thank you, yeah.
You got to be with people. Okay.
Yeah. So rage on, rock and roll. Can't wait for the music tonight. It's going to be lit. And I'm going to pass it back to you to close this baby out.
Closing benediction.
Love
Here we
y'all.
come.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexa.
Wow. Beautiful.
Dedication to love. From the core of our hearts, we dedicate ourselves to the complete and full expression of love in all our activities and in all our relationships.
Love is the soul's medicine, a refuge in our hearts, protecting us from utter despair. Finding compassion in the eyes of the beloved and the stranger gives us the courage to endure.
May love sensitize us with care and wisdom. May love help heal the sickness and wounds of life. May love enable us to forgive and accept ourselves.
May love enable us to forgive and accept each other. May love help us overcome our cruelty and bitterness, our greed and jealousy, our ignorance and delusion.
May love rule our hearts and minds, directing us to reach out, doing our best to benefit others, to heal suffering, to give gifts, to create beauty in the infinite network that is our world.
A heart of loving kindness pours creative grace into the world to alleviate pain and mend the heart net. To the healing art of love, we dedicate ourselves.
May any merit generated by this gathering be offered to the benefit and liberation of all beings. Happy full moon.